Dusty Vision Radio. You are tuned in to Super Audio Network. I am Dusty Angel, sitting here with my boy Dre Day all day. What's up, man?
Chilling, hanging out with the homie.
That's right. I'm excited about tonight's show. Victory Outreach is a church that I'm very familiar with. My stepfather went there after turning his life around, after gang banging, living that crazy life. And what I really like and appreciate about this church is they have a special niche. I know me talking about church, it's throwing you off a little bit, Dre, but just hang in with me.
I'm there.
This church specifically, I guess, targets or goes after people like my stepfather, the veteranos, the gangbangers, the people who society don't necessarily approach. This group approaches them, and that's what I find different about them. And I have a whole history myself with them, and we're going to get into that. But on the line, I have someone very special joining us, Pastor Vince Molina from Victory Outreach.
Sir.
How are you, man?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good, man. Just got home a little while ago and just looking forward, excited about the interview and just chop it up a little bit.
Yeah,
looking
man.
forward
Yeah.
to it.
Well, let's get right into it.
Yeah.
Tell me about, from your knowledge, tell me about the history of Victory Outreach from what you know and how they, specifically decided to target current and former gang members.
Well, it all goes back to New York City. Our founder, Pastor Sonny Arganzoni, was reached by David Wilkerson, which reaching into the New York City streets. Our founder, Pastor Sonny, was a drug addict, running the streets and all that. And David Wilkerson had ministered and reached a gang member by the name of Nicky Cruz, part of the Mau Mau group, Mau Mau gang there in New York, treacherous gang members back in the, I believe, late 50s, early 60s.
They were
in Nicky Cruz.
The cross and there was a famous
The
book.
Cross and the
There
Switchblade,
you
absolutely.
go. Cool.
The Cross and the Switchblade.
Go for it. Keep
historical book. Yeah, historical book. And through David Wilkerson reaching Nicky Cruz, then them reaching Pastor Sonny Arganzoni, they reached him. He's a drug addict. He got miraculously saved, delivered from heroin addiction. And it was really Nicky Cruz that really went out above and beyond, even when Pastor Sonny was going through a real struggle in his salvation. It was Nicky Cruz that went looking for him again to make sure that he was okay. He was coming to a crossroads, serving God, but really feeling the pressure of making that decision to really serve Christ. And then it was Nicky Cruz that sought him out, looked for him, and found him again, and said, "Look, no matter how hard it gets, you got to get back up." And just it was a life changing moment. And if it wasn't for Nicky Cruz going after Pastor Sonny during his struggle of salvation, I don't know where we would be. A lot of us would be, but thank God for men that were obedient to reach the lost and those that are hurting and those that even struggle sometimes coming out of that lifestyle. And that was what Nicky Cruz did. He really reached out and reached out to Pastor Sonny. And from there, Pastor Sonny went to L.A. and went to Bible college out there, La Puente Bible College, LABI.
Mm-hmm.
And from there on, he stayed out there. He met his wife, Sister Julie, and they made the West Coast their home, and that's where Victory Outreach was started, right there in Aliso Village in East LA. I believe it's still there, the projects, and started right there by reaching the gang members, the drug addict, the prostitute, the down and out, the hurting, and that all started in 1967. So here we are, well over 50 years later, still doing it, and it's just growing and growing. The ministry's growing. I'm just a one small church, part of a great body all over the world that's reaching into the streets.
I love that. Let's go way back to the beginning, and then we'll end at how you ended
Sure.
up here. But where exactly did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in San Jose, California. Well, I grew up in Santa Barbara and San Jose. My family is originally from the Santa Barbara area. My mom and dad are originally from Santa Barbara. My dad was born in Carpinteria. My mom born in Santa Barbara. So, my dad migrated, if I could use that word, up to Northern California in the 40s, I believe, and late 40s, and ended up over there. Of course, my mom ended up over there too. They met. It was a kind of a crazy story, but they kind of reunited up there. Both our families knew each other from Santa Barbara, but my mom and dad met again in San Jose, got married. My dad was a professional fighter, top 10 in the world.
Oh, yeah?
So his career he really launched out. He was really busy fighting at Madison Square Gardens,
Wait,
New York City, all over.
what's his name? I'm a huge boxing fan.
His name is Louis Molina. You can Google him, look
Wow.
him up. His
Okay.
record. He was in the Olympics in Australia in 1957, I think, 56, 57. And so he had a long career of boxing, professional fighter.
Oh, okay.
And of course, married my mom, began to have some kids, with total 5 kids, 5 siblings. But in 1974, 75, we went back to Santa Barbara. And that's where we found ourselves, me and my brothers, getting involved in a lot of things at a young age. My brother was a heroin addict. My other brother just running the streets. Eventually I found myself trying to identify with my brothers at a young age of 11 and a half, 12 years old. Just began to search for, excitement, fun, acceptance. So I began to run the streets too at a young age, and right there in Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara is as you know, is a very nice area.
Yeah.
But back in the 70s, it had, even right now, it has some rough areas, some really, really rough areas.
Mm-hmm.
But so we grew up there for a while. Then 1980 or so, we moved back to San Jose. So we kind of moved back and forth and uprooted ourselves. And it was there when we moved back to San Jose, California, is where I eventually gave my heart to the Lord. I got introduced to Victory Outreach. My pastor, Pastor Ed Morales, the director, the director that directed the movie, The Duke of Earl, that was my pastor. And I met him at a very young age, and he's the one that reached me and my brothers, and the rest is history. The rest
nice.
is history. We're still here.
I want to get to that. I want to move a little slower
Sure.
because you have an amazing story. So you said you were running the streets. I'm assuming, did you gangbang?
Yeah, you know what? At that age, I would be what you would call a youngster trying to a wannabe, just trying to fit in. Never got to the place where got shot, stabbed, for our neighborhood. Went to, farthest I went, juvenile hall. I was a young man, but just really, really trying to find myself in the neighborhood, find myself with homeboys running around, khaki down, dressing up, doing the things that we do. But at a young age, I got saved. So the Lord kind of like rescued me from really, really finding myself in, youth authority and prison. Although I pulled out of it and I got saved, all the dudes that I ran around with and I know you hear this a lot, they're either dead or locked up. That's how it is. And some are doing well. There is actually a few of us from my neighborhood right there on the east side of Santa Barbara, east side Santa Ruta, they called it. We ran around there. And some are doing well, and some are dead. A lot of good friends that died, overdosed, or were killed. And then there's some of us that got saved and are serving the Lord and doing well. And so we kind of like me and my brothers made it out of the neighborhood there in the east side, Santa Barbara and San Jose. We ran around San Jose too, and that was kind of a hard thing because moving from southern to northern California, back then the north and south thing wasn't jumping off a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was there, but it was
Sereno
difficult.
thing.
Yeah, that whole thing was starting. I mean, I'm sure it was already happening in the prisons, but on the streets in San Jose, it wasn't jumping off that much. And then as we moved back to San Jose, we started, seeing a lot of that jumping off and happening. And it was kind of hard because we had lived in both Southern and Northern California throughout our lives. A lot of my family I have family in Long Beach, LA, Lakewood, so I have family in Northern and Southern California, and I've always been back and forth kind of,
Okay.
and so it's been at times difficult,
Yeah. You mentioned that you were locked up. How many years total would you say?
No, I wasn't locked up.
Okay.
No, what I said is I went to the furthest I made was juvenile hall.
Gotcha.
And I got saved.
Good.
And I didn't have to experience prison. I didn't have to experience youth authority. I was able to really miss that whole chapter of life, that
Thank God.
I knew that was my destiny. Yeah, I knew that was my destiny. I knew eventually, just running with the people we did and trying to be like my brothers, running around and trying to just imitate them. That's where my life was headed.
Okay.
It really, really was. But I thank God that, he saved me. He saved me at a young age.
I want to talk about, I guess this will be one of the biggest parts of your legacy, the Duke of Earl. is
Right.
a great movie that a lot of people who grew up in Los Angeles and California, everywhere, Texas. I mean, everybody knows about this movie.
Right.
And Vince and I discussed a few days ago or a couple weeks ago, whenever we first talked. I don't remember if I saw the
Right.
movie first or the play first, but long story short, Victory Outreach put together a play that is still going on to this day, I do believe, and they basically picked real life street kids to act. And
Right.
I'm gonna have you take it from there and explain the
Okay.
history of Duke of Earl and how you got approached to do the movie, to be Cisco.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right. I played the character Cisco. My wife is Shy Girl. She plays Shy Girl in the movie.
Hmm.
And you're talking almost 40 years of Duke of Earl history that I have, and I'm going to try to sum it up the best I can and
Oh
answer
man,
any
take your
questions.
time. Take your time. We have about 50,
Right.
about 13 more minutes, so take your time.
Okay. I'm an original member, if you call it, of the play, the movie, starting from the very beginning, 1980, 81, at a young age when I got saved and gave my heart to the Lord. You know, my pastor, Pastor Ed Morales, I remember the day he told us, listen, we're gonna go into the youth authorities and we're gonna show a play. And we were all looking at him like, what kind of play? He goes, it's gonna be a gang play about gang members. And we were freshly saved off the streets. We were still struggling with different things, but he gave us an identity and something that we could get involved in, something that we could pour our hearts into. It gave us something like when you're a young person, you leave a certain lifestyle, there has to be a replacement of something else. And that's exactly what happened. So, all of us coming off the streets, running the streets, and then coming and giving our hearts to the Lord, there had to be a replacement. There had to be something that we could pour ourselves into. And so what he told us, he said, listen, in about 2 weeks, now I can't remember the youth authority, which one it was. It was either Carl Holton or O.H. Close. Those are in Stockton area. Those are the youth authorities. I can't remember which one it was, but he said, we're going to go in 2 weeks to go do a play. And we looked at him like, what play are we talking about? He goes, we're going to put together a play about two gangs. And there's going to be this and it's going to be that. And he started talking to us about the play. And we're like, we've never done anything like that, anything. And so he said, next Saturday, meet me at my house in the backyard and we're going to have practice and we're going to go through the play. So we all were excited because we are all from the streets. We're all already dressed up, dressed like gang members in khakis and Pendletons and hairnets and the Stacey Adams and just, and so we were like, in the oldies, he had the music. He said, okay, this is the story. So he put together this play and we had no idea that it would blow up to what it was, what it became. So 2 weeks later, we went into the youth authority in Stockton, which was, like I said, either O.H. Close or Carl Holton. Those are the two names. DeWitt Nelson, I think, was the other one. And we went in there, and all these dudes, man, Sureños, Norteños, all gang members, filled this little auditorium in this youth authority. And here we come. We came out on stage. The music was on. We began to just do our parts. And the gospel was preached through this play, and it was an incredible evening. I'll tell you why, because little did we know that as we were doing this play, we thought at that time we were just entertaining. We had no idea that we were ministering. Really,
Oh, okay.
it was more like we thought we were like, because we were fresh.
And when I watched it, if I may, I didn't feel like I was being preached to.
You didn't feel like
I
it?
did not. No, I did not. I didn't feel like I was being preached to. I feel like this is just a movie. I'm watching it. It's a hood movie. Okay, cool.
Right.
And they talk about Jesus every once in a while. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. But so what happened was, so we're doing the play, and to see the faces of these guys that were locked up, to see them come to the altar at the end, because at the end, if you're familiar with it, there's an altar call to give your heart to Jesus.
Yeah, I do remember that now that you say that.
Yeah, and when we saw all these gang members, hardcore, you're talking 16, 17-year-old young guys that are in there for murder, that are in there for all kinds of crazy things, to see them at the altar, broken and crying and giving their hearts to the Lord, we never expected that. We didn't know. Now, my pastor did. He knew exactly what he was doing and how he was going to do it. But we had no idea. But when we began to see these gang members broken and giving their hearts to the Lord, there was a special anointing that fell upon that altar call, that it was the birth of something great. And when we were done, we were like in amazement. We were speechless because we could not believe that the little that we did on the stage, which was probably an hour, the drama lasted about an hour, and none of us are actors. We're all just from the streets. To see that how God used our lives to touch the lives of these gang members. And from then on, the director of the youth authority said, can you come back again? And we went back again. But from then on, it blew up. My pastor saw that this play was touching the lives of gang members, drug addicts, people from the streets. So what he told us was, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to show it on the east side of San Jose. We're going to show it on the west side, the north side, and the south side. We're going to do the play all over San Jose. We're going to do it. We're going to do it every side of San Jose. We're going to invite every gang member, every person from the streets. And so we began to do the play all over San Jose. From there, it blew up into even more, where all of a sudden we're in Southern California, we're in Northern California, we're in Chicago, we're in Hawaii. As time went on, it began to grow and grow. And then it went from Dukerville 1 to Dukerville 2. That was the second part of the Dukerville. So we were doing the drama for a couple of about 3 or 4 years. And then we had an opportunity for my pastor to film it into a movie. Yeah. Because it was just a drama on the stage. And then TBN, Trinity Broadcasting Networks, Jan and Paul Crouch, they're the ones that sponsored the movie, and they're the ones that provided pretty much the finances and the filming, the video, and we recorded the Dukerville play into a movie. And that movie was filmed in East LA in Garrity. It was filmed in White Fence. It was filmed on Soto in Brooklyn, and then it was also filmed in San Jose on the east side. It was filmed at Hammer and Lewis, which is a real popular clothing store. Different parts. We filmed in Northern and Southern California. Actually, I remember when we filmed, we went into Garrity Lomas and we went into the neighborhood to film. We literally had to ask permission from the veteranos to go in there, and they literally had a meeting. And so we went on the top of the hill there. It was a rough neighborhood. I remember. We went on the top of the hill up there. We started filming, and those guys stayed up all night watching us, almost 24 hours of filming, and they took shifts. Some guys would leave and the other guys would come, but they watched us the whole time, that we didn't disrespect the neighborhood, write on the walls or do anything. But it was really organized, and we had to ask for permission to go into the different neighborhoods to film, even White Fence.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
We have about 5 more minutes. So I have a specific question for you about the play, and when you guys were promoting the movie and whatnot, going into these neighborhoods. Did you guys have do you remember anything standing out where you had a specific issue where there were gunfights or random drive-by, not necessarily toward you, but just in the neighborhood?
Yes, all the time. Not all the time, but it happened periodically. I remember in Santa Monica, we did it in Santa Monica. They did a drive-by at the theater or wherever place we were doing it. You could hear the gunshots. Nobody got hit, but you did hear the gunshots numerous times. But you would think you would hear a lot more, but there really wasn't. We had a lot of favor and a lot of respect. There was, and it's still on video if you're able to find it. We did it in the Dukerville 2, which is the part 2 of Dukerville 1. We did it at East LA College, over 14,000 gang members there, and there turned into a melee, a big gang fight, and it's on video. It's kind of hard to find, but you could find it, and it was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that. Yeah. And both sides went at it, but we had good security. They were able to break it up, but it was a melee for a good about 10 minutes until they got the crowd under control. But we've had a few situations. Nobody's ever died, just roughed up, hurt, beat up, but nobody's ever lost their lives in any of our performances. But we've had some squabbles. We've had some things that have happened. But the amazing thing is to see those people that maybe got beat up or jumped. to see them come and give their lives to the Lord at the end. They stuck around even for the rest of the play, so it was good.
I love that, man. It's been a pleasure, Vince. Would you like to promote anything? The floor is yours.
Well, we just want to let anybody know that's listening out there, if you're caught up in that web of gang violence, drug activity, hooked, bound, man, there's a God that loves you so very much, and he's still changing lives. He's still changing the gang members and those that are out there that are hurting and lost. We're not the only ministry, the only church that's reaching out. There's great ministries out there, but we are Victory Outreach, and we've been around for well over 50 years. We're still doing it. We have never lost our emphasis in reaching the hurting and the lost. Throughout the years, regardless of the ministry has grown worldwide, our emphasis is always the treasures out of darkness, Isaiah 45:2-3, that God said, I would give you the treasures out of darkness. And those gang members, those men and women that are on the streets and lost and hurting, they feel there's no direction. There's a new life that God is able to give you, and it's through the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I thank God that over 40 years later, I'm still saved, still serving the Lord. I pastor a church here in Austin, Texas. I left California 22 years ago. I now pastor a Victory Outreach Church here in the city of Austin, and God is doing great things in our city, and God is doing great things in our ministry of Victory Outreach. I thank God for our founders, Pastor Sonny, Sister Julie, my pastor, Pastor Ed and Mitzi Morales. My pastor has gone on to be with the Lord now, but he's left a tremendous legacy, and I'm so very proud to be part of that.
Amen to that. Pastor Vince Molina, it's truly been a pleasure, and I look forward to staying close in touch with you.
Absolutely, Arnold. God bless you, my brother.
You too, my friend. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay.
All right,
bye-bye.
Peace, man.
Bye-bye.
Oh, man. Yeah, Dre. See, when I bring up church on the show, it's not just like, it's not going to be just normal church. It has to be something hood involved, right? So, dope shit, man. I'm glad he turned his life around. Hey, let's take a few-minute break, Dre. I got to pee, then we're going to get right back into it. We're going to chat with our boy SUPA CUZZ. He's going to come back on the show. Dude has some awesome stories, and he was on here about a month or so ago and had to cut him short, but I was like, dude, I promise to have you back on for a part 2. So make sure you guys stick around. We're going to go pee, roll something up, pour a drink. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. You are tuned in to Dusty Vision Radio right here on Super Audio Network.
Never get a bitch tonight. No time now. I saw your naked pics online. No, so try to take a flick sometime for the filthy guys. She left the homie it one time. Nice. She said she only did 2 guys, but the bitch gon' lie. I stay. I'm sipping on it, I can't get away. Hey, I think I started something when she came my way. Don't worry about it, life is just today. That's okay. Yeah. Never asked a bitch for her pity, man. Never asked for pity, rather fight. No, I fight like a minute man. I'm eating venison, dick game be venomous. Big things ahead of us, we are the medicine. I've had better days, wish there was a better way, but follow what's in front of you, motherfucker, for heaven's sake. Leave an impact, drop a bomb like an earthquake. Still be smoking switches like Monday to Thursday.
Polish another bottle, swerving when I'm walking. This ain't nothing like them goggles. Bet it all on red, lose everything like sure to follow. Baddie in my bed, she from the island, say mahalo. When she ride me like Wakanda Rhino. Alibaba's gyros, got my hands looking like Thanos. Watch me pull back on the longbow, pin the target from like 30 miles. Ain't no Sasha, Burrow main attraction, that's as far as I know. Who the fucking tent with their last would be in the semifinals?
I'm sipping on it, I can't get away. Hey, I think I started something when she came my way. Don't worry about it, life is just today. That's okay. Yeah.
I hope you in for the staying. Can't let you go away. Yeah. And the sun shining my day, shining brighter than the sun rays. And I thought it was a riddle why you asked me. Bitch, don't question my passion. If I fucking lose, at least I had it. Say I need glasses, the way I skip classes. Rolling through streets, we don't need hall passes. Pikachu boy, I be bringing all the static. Fuck my bitch on the carpet like Aladdin. Looking at the kid like, damn, what happened? Well, fuck all of that whack shit. Well, fuck all of that whack shit.
Hey, baby bro, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to sleep. Pussy.
Why I stay, I'm sipping on it, I can't get away. Hey, I think I started something when she came. Don't worry about it, life is just today. That's okay. Why I stay, I'm sipping on it, I can't get away. That's okay.
Melatonin, I be preaching to my bros, know that they need it the most. Don't take my hand.
Dusty Vision Radio, Super Audio Network, sitting here with my boy Dre Day all day. And we have somebody on the line who we are bringing back because his story's too dope, and I really enjoyed his story the first time around. So we brought him back. Ladies and gentlemen, from Stockton, East Coast, my boy, SUPA CUZZ. What up, man? Can you hear me, SUPA CUZZ? Oh, jeez. Is that his phone?
I don't know.
Yo, can you hear me? Yo. SUPA CUZZ. I hear something.
Hello?
There
It's
we
not
go.
me?
Now I
Okay,
hear you.
yeah. I was checking my phone to make sure it wasn't my phone again. But
Well,
no,
shit, it's all good. I'll edit. I can. Yeah, we'll just keep on going, man. How you doing, man?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. I'm
Cool.
waiting on your call.
Yeah.
Waiting on your call.
Good to talk to you again, man. Well, let's get back into it. I think last time we left off around 1999. I think that was literally one of
Yeah,
our
that's
last,
when I came my ass home. Right?
Yeah, you had the stalker. We got into that a little bit. But I had a couple of specific questions for you, and that'll obviously intertwine your story and all that. But after spending so much time in and out of prison, what are your thoughts personally on someone like Tekashi 6ix9ine?
Oh, cuz it's a joke. I thought he was a joke before all the snitching shit came into play. But I mean, he just was a lot, man. You know, you could see somebody who had took it to the next level just to get a following, likes. That really wasn't what that kid was about. They took him and twisted him.
Yeah,
what
do you think about the gang? Do you think the gang is just as much his fault for letting someone get that close to them like that?
Well, no, they not at fault because they took what they felt was an opportunity, and used the opportunity. I think in their heart they knew he was a sucker, but not that much of a sucker. They didn't think he was gonna go and give up the whole rundown on everybody else.
Okay.
It's my personal opinion of the situation. And again, it ain't got nothing to do with him being a blood. I'd have been even more probably offended if he was a Crip.
Yeah.
It's the person.
Yeah.
It's the person. But then, just to be frank and to be honest, any man who has money and then starts gangbanging, I question.
Correct.
And that goes from Lil Wayne to Baby
Chris
and
Brown.
all of them. All of them. If you got more than $1 million in your bank account and then you start banging, I can't respect your banging. And I see anybody in the street that if they mad about that, let's see these knuckles and see if you really bang that shit. Because I don't believe it. How hard is it to be tough, guy? If you got $100,000, you got goons with you at 100,000.
Mm-hmm.
So how many goons you got with you at 1 million?
Mm-hmm.
How many goons you got with you at 10 million?
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about organizations that had over $100 million deals. And then all of a sudden you're going to flip and go change any color. Like I said, it don't matter what the color was. It don't make no sense to me.
How
You're
much?
supposed to
How much of that do you
elevate.
think is? How much of that do you think is extortion?
On that one, I don't think they're getting extorted at all.
Okay.
On what
Like for
on,
protection, just hey, we'll take care of you when you're in this
I'm
hood.
not gonna lay it, but some Crips robbed them at the Source Awards, and they went and gave Mac 10 a $10 million record deal to bring them over, basically to turn them into Bloods.
Yep.
That's just the big and the small of it. They got robbed by some Crips, so they decided to run to the other side and start banging that shit.
Yeah, we had Mr. Servon from No Limit on recently, and he said that pretty much Mac 10 is responsible for bringing the Bloods to New Orleans. He literally said that's what you pretty much just said.
Right. Yes, I can see it from the outside going out and live a life too much. And I watch these guys all of a sudden, and I like Cash Money. Don't get me wrong. I was a decent fan, as much as for a dude my age at the time would have been. But that just put a bad taste in my mouth for the whole thing, and that's why in my eyes I believe that Juvenile left. That's why a bunch of them that was really with the business left, because they seen that wasn't that's no. I'm not trying to be overly disrespectful, but that can't be respected. Really, you can't. How do you respect a motherfucker to start banging after you got millions of dollars? That's going backwards. That's not going forward.
Yeah, that makes no sense. But let's go back to your time in prison. All in all, what was the hardest thing about being locked up? I've heard pussy.
Of course.
I've heard no pussy. I've heard no good food. Like what would you say?
Yeah, the no pussy, of course. The no food, all of that is a given. But for me, it was just, I guess you know what it upped my anxiety levels to ridiculous levels. Because I could never really rest. I had to keep my guards up 24 and some motherfucking more. So for me, it created an anxiety about my own self. Being away from my family the later times. The first time I kind of was just into the time, like it was what it was. That way it was hard enough. But as I go back and catch these violations, even though God bless, most of them wasn't even that long. That 1 year was a long one. Then I did an 8-month one, but those ones was actually harder than the long wops, because you just had a taste of freedom and then they snatch it from you. And then I went back for just the stupidest reasons. A stalker on one, and another one for a DUI on Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, damn. And the stalker, for everybody who doesn't remember, he literally went to jail for pouring beer on somebody. I pretty much think that was the gist of it, right?
Pour beer at a brawl that attacked me, that stalked me.
Right.
For the longest. My parole officer wouldn't even come to the hearing. He wouldn't. He refused to go to the hearing, but I was high control parole, and if you're high control parole, the board, he's just a watchman. The board controls your case. So the board wanted me violated. So they just replaced him and gave me a whole new parole officer at the thing when he wouldn't show up. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. No, go ahead. Keep going.
No.
Okay.
If you got some direct questions,
yeah, because there's just a few things that I've been thinking about over the past month since we talked and all that. Because I know you live that life. But are there any Asian gangs? I know that sounds like a dumb question, but are there any Asian gangs in prison? And how do the Asians function?
The Asians, the Samoans, the Indians, they all operate under the other court.
Okay.
So I'm going to say damn near 10 for 10 when they come to prison. They stop all the gang banging and hop on the other car. I've heard of a few that have pushed the line like I did, but not many. Nah, I don't even think I can name a handful, maybe 2 or 3.
Okay. Damn.
For the most part, when they go to prison, they operate under the other car because it's not a lot of Asians. It's not a lot of, anything other than black, white, or Mexican pretty much jump on what they call the other car.
Okay. And there are situations where obviously they're an Asian Crip every once in a while. Or I think one of the main Mexican mafia members was a Japanese dude from Hawaiian Gardens out here in California. So I guess they're probably sprinkled in there, but that's if you grew up obviously in the life.
Oh yeah, because it's a lot of Asian Crips out here in Stockton.
Yeah. Oh, is there? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
There's a lot of Asian Crips, but when they go to the joint, that is, they say they go with their people.
Interesting. Okay.
Basically the same shit most other people do, which make me so off the wall.
Yeah. Explain what happens during a riot.
It's a free for all. It's a melee. It just depends on the type of riot. If you catch it in the yard, if you catch it inside the corridor, it can go different ways. If you're lucky, it's just fists. Most times, it's going to be makeshift knives and whatever else can be used. Because more than likely, riots don't just happen. They're brung to happen. It's a build up and an explosion. It's rarely something that just happens on like two dudes got in a fight and then it made into four dudes and then it just jump off. It's rarely like that. It's usually incidents done happen and it snowballs and it happens. And when it happens, cuz there ain't no time to think. It's only time to react. It's a life or death situation and you got to move. There's, hopefully you prepared for that. And it's a mental thing then because, the flight or fight is in everybody. And a lot of shit like that, you're going to see a lot of flight in a lot of people, especially once the blood starts flying. And that's what I tell a lot of people, especially youngsters that think that they're the hardest in the world because they're the knocking some dudes out. Well, what happens when dude don't just fall and the next thing you know, you bleeding all over the place? Are you going to still fight? Do you still got that same thrive? Is the savage going to come out or are you going to be running down the block? You don't never know till you cross that road. You could say what you want. You could tell whatever story you want until it happens. Yeah. But it's in that moment that you're going to find the fuck out.
Yeah, damn. So when are guards allowed to actually use guns?
Guards they're not supposed to use guns unless they see weaponry.
Okay.
But that varies by prison and by personality. If you got the dude in the tower that day that just been dying to shoot a motherfucker, you might be a shot motherfucker. It's a personality thing if we're going to talk about it like that.
Gotcha. No, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it depends who's in the tower that day. It's a lot of things that can do that. When I got into it with the people, the Woods in Mule Creek, they didn't find the cause to shoot nobody, and that was a group of motherfuckers on one dude. But then again, might have been because it was me, one dude, and their guards helped them. That could have played into it too. So, the only time I've ever seen somebody get shot in a riot was, I believe, in Tracy. I seen a dude get plugged when the Nortes and the Bulldogs split. When they had their initial first split, a guy got shot on the yard and another one in Tracy got killed, but he was one of them doofuses that just hit the fence and wanted it to end. They tell you that every now and then a dude will go psycho like that and he just wanted to get it over with. And true enough, he was one of them. And they shot him point blank in his back and killed him. He got what he wanted.
Damn. We had Big Herc on from Prison Talk. He was a Sacramento Crip. And he told me about female prison guards giving up pussy when he was locked up in prison. Did you ever witness that? Yeah. Actually, I had one attempt to give me some pussy in New Creek. Yeah?
And was stealing my letters and everything. Stealing my letters I was getting from other women on the streets. But I never would bite that apple. I wouldn't bite that apple. There's just too many ways that could go bad. And I had already got set up on another yard in that same institution. So I didn't trust nothing. I wasn't trusting that maybe this wasn't just a more setup. I didn't believe she really wanted me until she was stealing letters. So,
Okay.
yeah, I had to I had put in a write up on the mailroom because I wasn't getting my letters, and I guess that they tracked it down and got my letters from her. So that was a crazy piece of work there too.
Damn, dude. All right,
Yeah.
let's say I'm addicted to heroin. I get locked up. How much would I have to pay for heroin in jail? And how
Oh,
does
I
one, how
have
does
no
somebody
idea.
or how does somebody even keep up an addiction in jail? Because
This is what this is what I'm saying to you. On the one you talking about the one aspect of life I've never touched.
uh huh.
I've always felt that was a dirty game. And
Mm-hmm.
I've never associated myself with that from the streets all the
Mm-hmm.
way through prison. So I wouldn't know the price line.
Uh-huh.
But it's no different in the joint than it is on the streets. That shit around us, if you got the money to pay for it, you can get it.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, you want to be honest about it, COs bring it in.
Yeah.
It's too easy for them not to make money.
I've heard that a million
If
times.
they find the right guy that they see in them that they can get money with, they're gonna get that free money.
Mm-hmm.
And bringing in weed or something, it's nothing. Who's searching them? Nobody's going through their things.
Yeah.
Their union is so damn near tight with that you gotta. I don't know. Yeah. I just know they got one hell of a union.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd imagine even search them would have to be a warrant type shit.
Damn. Yeah. And we already know they don't tell on each other and that whole thing. So.
Oh well, we'd imagine it's like the blue code with the police.
Exactly. Yeah. So I see a lot of people on prison videos, like on fucking Facebook Live and shit, and Instagram Live, and they're smoking weed and they have cell phones and things like that. It seems to me that a lot of that stuff is turn the other cheek. That the guards don't pay that much attention to it. Because how do you?
No, it's
The smack.
a lot of those. You're gonna be in your cell. You're in your cell doing your thing. So
Okay.
they're smoking bud and all that. There's ways of covering up. They're burning incense and stuff maybe, or spraying deodorant. I don't know exactly how they're covering the smell.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's been so long since I've been in there. But back in our days, what we would do, but we still had lighters and stuff. Now they done took your lighters and you ain't supposed to do nothing, from my understanding. So any is a question. So back then we would make like toilet paper wigs. You run one of your deodorants over a toilet paper and fold it up and twist it up, and you make a wick out of it, and slow burn, and it'll help take the smell away if you're smoking in the cell. But how they doing it nowadays, ain't no telling.
Yeah.
As the turn the other cheek, it might be like that to an extent. It just depends again to the joint and where you're doing the time and what kind of yard's going on at the time.
Gotcha.
If it's a peaceful scenario, or if they tripping at the moment. I'm not the best guy to give a lecture on today's prison because I ain't been there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it ain't going back.
Yeah,
So
for real.
that's the elevation of that. What we're gonna talk about now is when I got home. I ain't gonna say I didn't do certain things. For a minute, I didn't know what to do. I was riding around with a bag full of damn near everything you can think of, just trying to make a dollar. Had a homie Rio that put me in the game and allowed me to make me some money. And as I was starting to bubble, I ended up in a relationship that wasn't too good for me, and I ended up back in the streets hustling a little too much. After just got on parole like not even a year, and got caught with what do you call some crank, not ice, old good old American crank. And one of the best things that could have happened to me is I got a drug program because it was 18 grams. Motherfuckers can make it what they want for 18 grams of homemade good old American crank. And at this time, although I've been to prison and all that, everything I've had was always violence. So when I got arrested and I'm in court, I'm playing the dope fiend role like a motherfucker. So I got they sent me to what they call ADAP, And ADAP was a whole nother world. Like I just knew I was going back to prison. These motherfuckers done let me out to fight the case and go to this little drug program for 6 hours a day.
Mm.
Oh, I'm winning. I'm winning. But in reality, it was a great thing for me, man. I ran back into my partner from high school, Eddie Ramirez. Shout out to Eddie Ramirez. He was a drug counselor up there. And they put me in his class because he was the closest thing they had to a thug counselor. And at this time, I was full-fledged still with all my ways.
Mm-hmm.
And it was him that got me to see reality a little bit different. And a little bit different made all the difference in the world, bro. Because as soon as I got me a little money, I went and I started my Go For You Express business. And I was doing DoorDash before DoorDash was ever thought of. And I started taking the elderly people to the grocery stores. And from there, I bubbled and bought my house, put out the first album, and then I run back into life and society of being, well, now SUPA CUZZ, but at the time, Rob Dog.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's been 2 years. I done bought a house. Everything's been going good. Got a baby on the way. And this bank was letting people in my account. Well, what do you do with an account? If somebody's letting you in your account, what are you going to do?
Raise hell.
Raise hell. I did that. So they gave me the money back the first time. The next month, they did it again. I go, raise hell. They tell me there's nothing they could do. So I did what any fucking man I think would have did if the bank's telling them they can't defend their money. Well, give me my motherfucking money and close this fucking account down. So they gave me the money. They didn't close the account. So now next month come, these people come back. The bank pay these people and then charge me for doing the whole thing. By the time I got the bill, cuz it was $151. So on an account I thought I closed. I ended up at the bank. Now, keep in mind, I done been to prison, 6 prisons by this time. I've been free. I'm running a business. I'm knowing I'm in a bank. The last thing I'm going to do is physically threaten anybody in a fucking bank. I'm no fucking fool. But what I will call you is a dirty robbing motherfucker. I will call you scandalous motherfuckers. Yep. That's what I will do. And I did all that. So by the time I leave, 2 hours later, a manager come back and call the police on me. Next thing I know, I'm fighting the case. Wow. And the deal is 6 years.
What?
Yeah, for cussing in the bank. 6 years. That's what they wanted to give me. So I'm fighting it, and I got this little new DA broad that didn't want to let it go. She just did, even though I got tons of letters, how I done changed my life, business, baby on the way. She didn't want to hear none of that. She don't want to hear none of that. And she's trying to really push prison. That's all she talking. Prison. Yeah, prison. Because magically, get this, on a case like this, it should be 1 police report. There shouldn't even be a second police report. Mm-hmm. She talked to the first officer on scene, and by the time she gives her statement, the officer gives his statement that there's nothing we could do. He was mad about people getting in his accounts with anybody that did. He left us, no problems, yada, yada, yada. 15 minutes later, a woman officer takes another statement from the lady, and suddenly she remembered that I said I was going to come back and blow her away.
Whoa, okay.
Right, so now fight for my life. It's a terrorist threat.
Wow.
But I know in my heart, I ain't never said nothing like that. I know, but how do you prove it? Mm-hmm. The bank's not going to give you nothing, and they magically didn't have no audio on in the bank, just a regular camera system where you can see me. And basically anyway, for 8 months, cuz what happened, the bottom line, my private investigator that my lawyer hired found the Asian lady that was behind us because the bank wouldn't give us who it was. Okay. So we had to find the lady. He ended up finding her. She doesn't in Stockton. That's why it took us 8 months to find her. She was in Livermore. She just happened to be in Stockton and stopped at a branch of her bank. But the most beautiful thing I might have ever heard, besides my children in life, cuz was the tape of this lady, my private investigator brought me, of her saying, "He no threaten nobody.
Nice. Woo.
He no threaten
Oh man, I
nobody."
bet you had the biggest fucking smile.
Oh, cuz you couldn't even imagine, man. Oh, cuz by this time, cuz I had already buried my son. My baby mama had my baby early, stressing about all this stuff.
Oh man.
And I'm wearing shirts to court that says this is what the DA did for me, holding my dead son in my arms. I went through a contempt of court charge and all type of stuff, but I beat it because, like I told them, there's nothing up here that says I can't wear a T-shirt.
Yeah.
There's nothing up here that says no shorts, no tank tops. There's no vulgarity on this shirt, so there's no reason you could find me hold this contempt charge on me. So anyway,
Ooh,
yeah. So I
man.
went through all that first, and then got to hear that beautiful thing, and she went on to say that I was mad because he let people have his money. She said she'd have been mad too, but that he had it set just for that. He hit the button and it said, "No, no, no, he no threaten nobody." And from there, we got to work and ended up whooping that broad on that case.
Beautiful. And you were released. No issues after that.
No. We got the whooping her, meaning that she had to work a deal with it. She still was determined to getting something, and unless I went to trial, which I'd more than likely beat it. Let's be honest. I more than likely would have beat it. But she's gonna throw at the jury every bit of my old school life.
Of course. Paint you with that brush.
Right. So do I really want to chance that? So what happened was, learned more about law on this case. If you plead guilty under Matthew, whoever Matthew was, he went all the way to the Supreme Court and got a ruling made around him. If you plead guilty under Matthew, what happens is they accept your guilty plea. They give you probation for 1 year. If you do the 1 year probation, no problems, they expunge the charge. It goes away like it never was there. Because it was a law made for a motherfucker just like me, who got a record that they don't want to go to trial because they know they're going to use their record against you. You don't want to take the chance.
Okay.
So you're really only admitting the guilt because of that, for the railroad job that they know is going on. So I never even knew nothing about this. This lawyer's. The beautiful part of that is I met a woman who's still one of my great friends to this day, Victoria Bossy, attorney at law. 6 foot Italian woman that don't like police. So she's still a great friend. She put me on to the courier business. So I upgraded my service to courier work, and I started working for her and a couple other lawyers, taking papers, making easy money, man. Take a paper, get it signed, take it, get it stamped. Well,
shit. Before we run out of time, because I only have like 3 more minutes before I have my next person on at 8. I want to have you on, man. I'm down to do this every month or so, every couple months, just to check in and keep chatting, because I feel like once again we just hit the tip of the iceberg with your story, man. But I want you to talk about your business, because I really want you to push that and promote that. Tell us about your business, where we can find it. For all my 420 friends out there, you're gonna love it.
Or you can look it up. It's Mary Jane Moonshine. You pop it up, it'll probably be my beautiful face. Or type in SUPA CUZZ. And everything is kind of associated together with me in that product. And to find it, you have to find me. Right now, I'm looking for investors and sponsors in every state that got some legal-friendly cannabis laws.
Well, we're having a 420 show right here on Super Audio Network on April 4th. April 4th, 2020. So get me some of those drinks down here, and I want to pay for a couple of them. Like, if you want to throw in a couple or some extra, I'm fine with that. But I want to support.
I never seen you about.
Yeah, I want to support. So try to get that.
This house.
Try to get that to me before April 4th, so I can promote it on our big 420 show that we're having. So get that over to me.
We made to the end. I didn't even get to tell you about the cage fighting years, but we'll catch up.
Let's do that next, dude. Yeah, it's on. I'm gonna make notes and yeah, let's do it again, man. I'm gonna stay close in touch with you, man.
Okay, you guys
Dude,
have a great
it's
day.
been a pleasure, Super Cuz. Take care, man. Peace. Yeah, buddy. This dude's story is crazy. Next time we'll chat with him about cage fighting. We got to give you a little bit at a time to make you want more. Right here on Super Audio Network. Yo, Dre.
That dude was dope. That dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I was riveted. I was on the edge of my seat, literally. Let me look at it. You can see look how much space I have.
Did you shit?
A little bit.
I thought I said something out there.
Right.
Hey, throw a song on, and when we get back, we're gonna chat with Big GD. From
You mind if I play
Grape
Dark
Street.
Ghost
play,
Fix?
please do. Actually, I would
here we go.
prefer that. Please play Dark Ghost Fix, who has his show on Mondays right here on Super Audio Network, the VIP podcast. You're tuned in to Dusty Vision Radio, Super Audio Network. We'll be back in like 3 minutes. Yeah, buddy.
I'm not paying these shows with these streets of flows, bitch. That I know what you roll, yeah, and I know what you troll, bitch. Really on the picture 'cause it ain't your season. Hey, bring on funny 'cause it gave me a reason, bitch. Hey, I ain't taking one fast, I ain't taking no treason. Preach to your people, what the fuck is your meaning? Turn on my mic 'cause your bitches are feeling. Set up your back 'cause your edges are scheming. They are screaming, nigga, ghost, that ain't boom, that. Hey, bitch, don't get mad, leave me all that fucking trapper. Hey, set it shot, little homie, let me handle that. Hey, all this space and a cup, gon' be ripped, it can't. Hey, it gets only 64 and damn. And a ghost left, lacing up this fucking track, say, bitch, ghost.
Checked in my face, I should get and her stitch to my head. I ain't had a ride for a minute, I ain't finna get anywhere. Had to tell the people feeling for my death. I'll be back to life in a sec. Y'all can kill me once again, once again. Sad stories, how to be a man, underground forever like the Taliban. Split me into pieces in the Chevy Astro van. No, it's not the clan anymore. No, it ain't my fault. Use a hoe, probably die in a month. Kill them all. Black Sabbath all up in my wall. Watching on some headbangers bar. Skinny hit refresh, trillions gone, hidden under bed. Cash wet, snow blinded till I'm dead. Sad asleep, still making shit. Take me off the split, take my bitch, push me off the cliff. I'm the darkest ghost up in this bitch. Go. I'm the darkest ghost up in this bitch.
Lloyd, Christmas, Stanley, Nickus, man, it's all the fucking same. Try to tone down the vibe, better stay in your lane. I don't do it for the fame, I just do this stay sane. Disappear like they didn't play, just turn off the TV, man. They ain't gonna learn anything, fake news all fucking day. Made the brainwash your man, this shit right here wanna make you slide through your main. Fuck the good, give me that brain. No other songs in my name, ain't no game, ain't no main. Boy, you so fucking lame, an original to this day. 64 man, ain't no play, but Bonnie exotic, the buffin' what he can.
Dusty Vision Radio, Super Audio Network. Sitting here with my boy Dre Day all day. What up, Dre Day?
Yeah, man, chilling. It's
All right,
good.
let's do it, man. Let's keep this going, man. On the line, we have somebody who I've been wanting to chat with shit for a minute. Just recently met him. Got a chance to watch his interview on Alex Alonso's show. Shout out to Alex. And interesting dude, man. He has a movement going on, and we're going to get into that as well. On the line, ladies and gentlemen, Big GD from Grape Street, Watts, Baby Low Crib. How are you, man?
Hey, how you doing? What's up with y'all, man?
Yeah, doing good, man. Doing good. Thanks for joining the show, Playboy.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah. So, let's jump right into it, man. Explain the Baby Low Crips, and did it originate from what I understand? I guess it originated from the Vadio Grape, right?
Well, the Watts Baby Low Crips is a movement that started actually after WBG.
Okay.
Now, WBG is that's where we came from. You know what I'm saying? Like my family started WBG, so therefore my family started Grape Street. But it was taken from what my family did with the WBG part when the blacks and Hispanics was together as one. You know, we still together, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying, you got other different factors that factor in it now with the, Serena 13 and stuff. So, you know, they have their own little program. We have our own, us being Crips, but we still together and share the same hood. But the Baby Lokes was created from that. So when Watts Baby Low Crip came out in the 80s, it just pretty much like took over. So anything from that point to now is Watts Baby Low Crip. You know what I'm saying? So you still got older homies that's WBG, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, like this generation is all Baby Lokes.
Okay. So what year did you get put on?
1993.
Okay. Take me back to that day.
That day, I was coming back from school, and the homies, you know, they asked me, like, you ready to get caught on the hood? Now, me, knowing who my family was, I knew I really didn't have to go through all that. But at the same time, I didn't want to live off nobody else's name or reputation because I know coming from my projects, that ain't going to get you far. Nobody really care about what somebody else did. It be your daddy or whoever, your grandpa, uncles, they don't care. It's all about what you did. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to live off of their reps. So, you know, at first I was like, man, I'm gonna see why something was the deal. But, you know, the homie, you know, the projects is grimy, so the homie just got off on me. He fired on me. So after he fired on me, everybody else fired on me. So now we fighting, but my focus was on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, the homie that fired him, my focus is on him. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting hit in all type of angles, directions, everything. But I just seen like black. I didn't even feel none of it. To me, it was like a head up with me and him, but really I'm getting jumped. You know what I'm saying? But back in them days, we did 3 cordons. One, you wasn't just done with one. You had to go through that process 3 times. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I ended up doing it. I ended up going through that 3 times.
God damn. Okay. Well, shit. Give me some of the gangs that you guys are surrounded by. You know, whether you get along with them or not, or are indifferent with them. What are some of the gangs that you guys are surrounded by?
Surrounded by, you know, we got the Fudge Town Mafia Crips right there, right next to us. You know, you got the PJ Watts Crips, the 10 Line Gangsta Crips. You got the Badass Gangsta Crips, the Bonniana Watts Bloods, the Hacienda Village Bloods, Circle City Power Rules, Nine Deuce Bishops. All that's right there. Bebop Watts, you know, Hack Gang Watts. All that's right there. Great Home Street over there. Compton Avenue Crips right there. Like, you got the Blue Gate Mafia Crips right there, right next to us. Like, it's a lot of little shit right there next to us. The Nut Hoods ain't too far. You got the Wigan Colonial Watts. I went to Wigan Elementary. I went to their school. They are enemies, and you know, since I stayed on that end side of the projects on the 102nd and Juniper side, I had to go to their school. instead of going to art school, I did a second. So, you know what I'm saying? I was going to enemy school at elementary, fighting them every day just to walk back home.
Damn. Shit, I wanna talk about hip hop a little bit. You know, Grape Street has a history with hip hop, and I know you have a movement going on where you're trying to, you know, get all the artists united. And I want to get into that in a bit, but I'm gonna throw some names at you, obvious ones that you're familiar with, and I just want your take. But O3 Greedo, it's great, spending time in jail right now, prison, actually.
Correct.
But he was destined to be a superstar. Do you know anything about him? Were you close with him or?
Yeah, me and O3 Greedo is close. You know, I done been in the studio with him when he was you know, recording songs and things of that nature. You know, I done thug with him on the streets. You know, that's coming from the hood, man. Free O3, man. You know what I'm saying? Product out the Jordan Downs. You know, we support him. You know, I was going to all his little performances he was having leading up to the time that he did turn himself in. But yeah, O3, yeah, me and O3 is close.
Yeah, that's dope. He was tight, man. Like he is tight. I shouldn't say was, because you know he'll hopefully still make music when he gets out. But how does it feel when somebody from the hood just, you know, they're blowing up and people in New York are playing this song from a dude that grew up two houses from you?
Well, I mean, it depends on which way you look at it. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I'm a day one Grape Street, so, like, all my life, you know, we've been in the spotlight. We've been in the limelight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Them niggas, so it's like, to us, it's what's supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's regular. Like, you can look at O3. You can look at greats from around the world. Black Boy JB, NLE Chopper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Jay Fizzle and all these type of dudes. Moochie Great. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got so much talent, it's ridiculous, man. But at the same time, whenever you want to talk about that, we're going to get into that as far as what I'm trying to get established in that.
Yeah,
you know, that has something to do
bring
with
it
this
on,
topic.
actually bring it on, yeah.
Well, yeah, the reason, see, right now, the big homies, you know, like, we got a record label going. It's grape owned, you know, grape operated, straight out the Jordan Downs, One Vine, Entertainment, Records. So right now, what we're trying to do, you see the names we just named, they got a whole lot of talent from our section or from our community. So what we trying to do is, you know, instead of letting the next Greedo or the next NLE Chopper or Black Boy JB slip through the cracks and you know, mess with somebody else, we want them to mess with their folks.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole idea of it. So we can keep everything in-house. So therefore, you know what I'm saying, everything we do, we control. So, you know, this is just a way I'm going to word it, but we not trying to be no slaves to nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's dope, dude. Listen to that, ladies and gentlemen. That's really how it should be, man. The neighborhood that you grew up in, that way you guys can just keep building and bring more attention and more money to your neighborhood, fix it up, do whatever you got to do. That's dope. I love that idea, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it, man. Like the way gangbanging is right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have no choice but to learn from all the things that happened in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. And then if you look at it like, you know, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, they glorify this lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, and they still watch these movies and they stuck in those days and they not understanding. You know, people in those days was going and committing murders and getting out after 10 years. You know what I'm saying? People in those days, you know what I'm saying, the projects now in my hood and the Jordan Down projects, there's cameras everywhere.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no shit.
Everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And they bulletproof. You can't shoot them down to nothing.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we used to, but you can't do it no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you'll be a fool not to evolve with the times. You know what I'm saying? We all got homies that you know, like, die and go to jail for life, and it's been happening every year. You know, and I remember, like, I think it was I believe it was 2005. I think I went to 11 of my homies' funerals. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, dog.
And I'm thinking in my head like, cuz, like, is this all this that's we gonna get out of this? You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Is this it? You know what I'm saying? A lot of my troops going to jail. Free Young DD, my little homie. You know what I'm saying? Got double life. You know what I'm saying? He got that at 20 years old. You feel me? But I'm saying, like, is that all? You know what I'm saying? That's all we gonna accomplish out of this life? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's heartache and, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So it's like, we got to make something out of it because at the end of the day, a lot of us got kids. And, you know, we got a lot of people, other people, kids who look up to us. And you know, we like they role model. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of leading them to the grave, you know what I'm saying? We need to try to lead them to something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying you can't be who you be. I'm not saying you can't thug and do whatever you do. What I'm saying is, you just gotta, you know what I'm saying, open up your eyes and you know what I'm saying, like realize what's going on. You gotta be able to adapt and evolve, or you gonna be washed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're an intelligent dude, man. Keep that shit going, and we're gonna help you promote that any way we can right here. I want to keep it on the topic of hip hop, and something that just recently happened. Pop Smoke was killed right here in L.A. in the Hollywood Hills, specifically 3,000 miles away from his home. He's in New York. I think he's a Crip, actually. GS something. I don't know if it's GS9 or whatever the case is. But what are your thoughts on rappers, you know, how they should move in L.A. and specifically in other places where they're not from?
Well, I mean, you say he was from GS9 or GSC. I mean, the only reason I'm aware of that gang, I think you're talking about G Stone Crip or something like that.
Is for Bobby Shmurda, right? Probably.
Yeah. The only reason why I'm familiar with that gang is because, you know, Grace Street, we everywhere, we worldwide. You know what I'm saying? So we got folks everywhere, and so the homies we do have, like in that area, in the New York area, they inform us about like different things in their area, you know, different gangs or whatever. So I heard it like that. Before that, I never like really knew about them. But I'm gonna say it like this: like, if you gang banging, like, and you color banging, Cripple Blood, and all that type of stuff, people gotta understand, like, it originated out here in California. You know what I'm saying? So if you banging any type of Crip blood power or anything that was started here, where we from, you know what I'm saying? You definitely gotta be connected. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You need people to where you can call on when you come out here. You know what I'm saying? They can pull up on you, or you can pull up on them, and they got genuine love for you because you know what I'm saying? Like, and for instance, we can go back to, like, we could say like a Black Boy JB and NLE Chopper.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They come out here. Guess what? Where they gonna go?
They're good. They're going right to you.
All right. So that's my point. Are we going right to them?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So instead of you thinking you finna run down on them and do whatever you finna do to them, you know what I'm saying? You gotta understand it's a difference when you come out here and you're not protected by nobody and somebody do something to you. Who gonna ride for you?
Yeah.
What type of war they gotta get into it with in Cali over you?
Yeah.
They don't gotta get into it with nobody.
Yeah.
You wasn't linked with nobody.
You're like a sitting
They
duck.
just got away with some shit. You know what I'm saying? Now imagine if you link with some folks.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you're from a hood that's out here, or you got the proper okay to be what you bang what you banging, as far as red or blue, purple,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different situation. You know what I'm saying? If you don't got the proper okay, you're not connected to nobody. Something happens, nobody cares. Like, nobody even, like, we even look for answers. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if you connected, something happens, guess what? It can be a big war start on these California streets, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
over you, and you from thousands of miles away,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But it can really be a war that start over you that lasts 40, 50 years
Mm-hmm.
just because you connected.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big difference. So when somebody come at you, they're going to be more hesitant to do something to you when they see you with certain folks. And they'll be like, oh, shit, he fuck with them? Oh, he with them? Because you know if you do something to him, you got to do something to them. And if you do something to them, they coming back.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a sustained war. And it ain't going to be nothing that just go away and be swept under the rug and you just got away with it that night. It's going to be a whole different story. So that's why it's real important for people to be connected, man. And I'm going to say like this. If you are a star, whoever you are, you got money, you know what I'm saying, you somebody of importance, and you want to come to Cali and you want to chill and you want to go out and go to places and you want to feel safe, shit, call me.
There you go.
On some real shit, because I'm gonna keep it real. We working on the security company too, just for those purposes.
I like that. That's a niche.
And it's gonna be one vine also. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying call me for nothing. They call me, and when you pull up on these places, you gonna have the Gray Streets with you. And if they want to issue with you, that mean they want to issue with Gray Street, and it ain't too many people that want that.
Yeah, hell no. Shit. Well, let's keep it hip hop and kind of current. Somebody who's going to be getting out of jail in a few months here, probably, most likely. But what are your thoughts on somebody like a Tekashi 6ix9ine?
Man, look. You know, we live by the G code, man. It's certain things you can do and certain things you can't do, man. And when you break certain codes, like the thing that he did snitching, that's like to a point of no return. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what you talking about. Like you no good, you bad. You know what I'm saying? You no good, like for the rest of your life. So, I mean, anybody that support a snitch, you know what I'm saying? You might as well, you know what I'm saying? You might as well say you're a snitch for yourself, but at the same time, you gotta understand which point of view you're looking at it. A regular civilian is not held up to the same standards and regards that I'm held up to. You know what I'm saying? The regular civilian can tell, and it's okay. No repercussions, no consequences. You know, if I do it, you know what I'm saying, or somebody like 6ix9ine who portraying to be in this lifestyle do it, then you know that's you all bad. Point of no return. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How responsible do you think the gang is for letting him get that close, knowing that he wasn't about that life?
They knew. I mean, from my knowledge, he wasn't even really from their hood. He just supported them because they looked out for him. Like he wasn't really officially one of them. So in that sense, that's where it falls on them. You know what I'm saying? Because you got somebody out here false claiming your hood. You know what I'm saying? For everybody to see it, not just confined to your neighborhood, like for the whole world to see it. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, you supporting him, and not just supporting him. You doing shit for this man, like you grew up with him. You know what I'm saying? Like where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't just let anybody just come over here and be a part of this. Like you gotta think of it like this. If you coming over here to where I'm from, right? Where did you come from? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And wherever you came from, why wasn't you accepted there when you had to come over here?
Mm-hmm.
You could have got ran off over there, did some whole shit and everything, and try to move and start. I don't know. Basically, what I'm saying is we don't know you. You know what I'm saying? So don't never put your trust in somebody like that you don't even know from Adam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's their fault. And you know they rep the consequences for doing that. But you know that's just that's a learning experience. Everybody, when you have people that die or get locked up or go through certain experiences, you got to take that and apply that to your life and look at it as a learning experience. Don't look at it as, oh, that's just them and it ain't gonna happen to me. Yeah, you might be the next one it happened to. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta apply that to your life and take it and learn from it and make sure it ain't you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're coming up on the year anniversary of Nipsey Hussle being killed tragically April 1st. Damn, I can't believe it's already almost a year. I want to talk with you and ask you specifically, I know how you feel. I'm sure you feel it was a shitty situation, but specifically, is there any way that could have been prevented or someone could prevent something like that happening to them?
First off, man, rest in peace, Nipsey, because I did know him personally. I remember, I think it was like 2013 2003 or 2002, me and the boss players from the hood, they used to take me over to his house to record in the Overhill 6-0s. And he was actually like our engineer. He'd stay there the whole time while we rapping and singing and shit. And he'd just be on the computer doing what he do. And as far as his situation, I don't really know too much about his situation because I'm not from the west side. I'm from the east side. I'm from Washington. I really don't dip into their politics because that ain't my business. But, you know, I do, you know, I'm human like you, so I do read certain things and look at certain things and see a lot of different people's opinions on what they thought happened or whatever. But, you know, that's just not my place to speak on that situation because, you know, I'm not from 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not from the west side, and I don't know they politics. I don't know what was going on. My only relationship I knew with Nipsey was music-based only, you know. So I didn't really know the politics side of him, you know what I'm saying, as far as the game, maybe politics side of him. So so I can't really speak on it, you know what I'm saying. But I can say it's a tragic situation, you know what I'm saying. And he was a severe loss to our city, you know. I could say that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, shit, if I can keep you for about maybe 7 more minutes, just have a couple more questions. But a couple significant things happened in your life, Hood, actually, specifically dealing with Watts. The first one was the big truce back in 92, 93, whatever summer that was.
Right.
PJ, Bounty Hunters, and you guys all got together, right, for a truce.
Right.
I know you were young at that time, but do you remember anything about it? Do you remember your elders talking about it? What can you tell me about that time?
Shit, I was there. You know what I'm saying? Shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it was you know, just put it like this. I have a baby mother that's from Bonnie Hunters.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? I also have a baby mom from Kwame Paru, but I have one from Bonnie Hunters, so that should tell you right there. That right there is the effect of the peace treaty. Without the peace treaty, that could have never happened.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't, you know what I'm saying, really deal with them like that in that type of way. Like, you know, go over there to have that type of relationship with one of their females, you know what I'm saying? So but other than that, you know, like Sam, my cousin Sam from Bonnie Hunters, you know what I'm saying? I just found out Killer Twan was my cousin from Bonnie Hunters. I got other family members over there, the PJs, and you gotta understand, like, we all been around each other for so long. Everybody has had sex with everybody's family members, so everybody is related in some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, to me, it's like eventually it's gonna have to stop, man. And tell you the truth, like the '92 treaty was cool, but you know we had other treaties since then. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2004, 2005, an incident happened that broke that up, and ever since that one got broke up, we just been warring ever since from that point. Now, everything from like 2004, it was either 4 or 5. From that point to 2020, we've been warring.
Damn.
You know, but we've been having talks. We've been having meetings. You know, I've been going to the, you know, like certain select people from the Jordan Downs and the Nickerson Gardens. We've been having meetings over there in their hood, you know what I'm saying? As recently, I was going as recently as 2017 or 2018. I went to jail in 2018, so, you know, that stopped me from going to the meeting. But we was having some good productive talks, but at the end of the day, you know, when you're dealing with thousands of members from each side, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to just have, like, you know, 6 people, it was about 6 people from each gang representing thousands, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? It's like the way I am is that, you know, I'm going to tell people like it is. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm in meetings, I'm going to let it be known. Like, I'm not going to hold my tongue. I'm not going to just tell people what they want to hear, just in case people got other hidden agendas for the reason why they want, you know, peace or whatever. So I just tell it like it is. I'll be real, and then I go back to the hood and talk to them and get their feedback. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing about that is it's like if you got 30% that's willing to, you know what I'm saying, have talks for peace so the kids can have a better future and all this. But you have 70% that's against it. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter how productive the talks is. It's gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shit.
It ain't gonna work.
Even if 10% are against it, that's still a big number. That can still cause some bullshit. You're
Well,
right.
no, like I said, 30% with it,
Yeah.
70% against it.
Right.
It's more like on that scale than now. If
Gotcha.
only 10% was against it, we'll all be clicked up right now.
Oh, okay.
Because that 10% to get overrode,
Gotcha.
like the
Okay.
majority moves. So
Yeah.
so it's like, that wouldn't be an issue. But when you have the majority that's against it, then that's where the issue comes from.
Yeah.
You know.
Damn, man. Well, we've had some major peace treaties in L.A. to where people would have never thought. I think it was the East Coast and Florencia. I had a big one. I know Inglewood, the Queen Street, Inglewood 13, and Crenshaw Mafia, I believe. They all had they're talking. So hopefully that'll happen in your neighborhood, and you could build this one Vine moment, and that Vine can move on to the next project over and the project over. And, you know what I'm saying, you guys can unite. That'll be fucking dope, man. So give that one more promotion. Tell me where we can find you and how anybody who wants to be involved can be involved if they want to invest or, whatever the case is. Where can they find you?
Yeah, they can find me. They can just reach me on Instagram, because my IG, you can just follow me. It's not private or nothing like that. It's GD Grape Street, GEEDEEGRAPEST. And if they want to donate, they can donate on Cash App. It's Jordan Down Menace Boys, JORDANMENACEBOYS. We taking our donations, and we do a lot of stuff for the kids too. We do a lot of stuff for the hood. We give out different things, food, and we do all types of stuff, even from the smallest, just provide rides for people that can't go get home at night and they just been in the projects all day. Because a lot of people that live in projects, a lot of them don't actually live in the projects no more. They probably grew up there, but they moved out. They got a family, they probably got a house somewhere or whatever, but they always come back, and they be having kids, and they move with their parents, and they might want to come be in the projects too all day, but they got to get home at night. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be real dangerous for people just out there hanging out at certain times. So just little stuff like that, give them rides, provide supplies for school, all that type of stuff, man. But but to touch on what you were saying as far as bringing people together through one Vine, that's definitely something that should be looked into. That's all I can say. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not finna sit here and say I'm advocating for peace or violence. But what I'm gonna say is, I think people need love, man. A lot of people forget what love is in our areas because you grew up so grimy and cold, and everybody taught that love is a sign of weakness. You know what I'm saying? But if you have people that start loving each other more, you know what I'm saying, then it'll be easier for people to get together. You know what I'm saying? And one denominator that's gonna bring people together is money. So if we can get this going and we can generate enough money, then we can talk about putting everybody on in a position to where they won't have to put themselves, take penitentiary chances to get diapers for their kids or to keep the lights on, to put food on the table. They'll be getting fed through one Vine, you know what I'm saying? It'll be just legit money, you know what I'm saying, that everybody earned, you know what I'm saying? And that can change people's minds and hearts towards other people when people is showing you love and they helping you upgrade yourself and uplift your spirit, you know what I'm saying, and your attitude, you know what I'm saying, and try to bring this love into your life and longevity, you know what I'm saying. So when you see that, it can be easier for you to forget about, you know what I'm saying, bodies dropping, man, because the body's been dropping for years, and it's what you want to do. You want them to just keep dropping till you drop, and your kids till they drop, and till their kids drop. Like, is it gonna stop? Or even if it never stopped, that don't mean we can't temper it a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
That don't mean we can't try. Like, cause as far as my area, we don't really get along with too much nothing in Watts. Like, almost like, you know, everybody hate us. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we not a likable gang. You know what I'm saying? We're not the type of friendly people for you to like. So it's understandable why everybody hates us. But at the same time, a lot of that got to do with us because of our attitudes and our mentalities and how we want to. We do everything by ourselves, and we don't need nobody and fuck everybody and all that. And we got to change our mentalities too. You know what I'm saying? If we expect things to change for us for the better, we got to change for the better.
Man.
We still gonna be who we are, but you got to change for the better if you expect better results. And that's why it's a new and improved Great Street, man. This is the best time right now to do business with us. Hit me up. I don't care who you is. If you want to do business with us, hit me up. We not with none of, as far as like people that's doing business with us, we not with no scandalous stuff or none of that. We're going to treat you right. We're going to show you the in and outs of what we got to offer. And we're going to do real good business, man. We're going to take care of you. Like right now is the time. If it ever been a time, right now is the time. I got a movie that's coming out soon too, man. They finna be recording in the projects, man. We working on a movie right now. You know, I got some stuff that's already out on Netflix. It's called Hyper Hard Boiled Gourmet Report, season 1, episode 2. That's already out. I did another episode with Netflix like some months ago. I don't believe it's out yet. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I was on the Bloods and Crips Peace Treaty. I did that, as you mentioned, the stuff for Alex Alonso.
Yeah.
And then don't forget the Hood Vlogs. You know.
Yeah, Hood Vlogs. That's right. Yeah. Definitely, man.
Yeah.
Kev Mac videos, all them, man. Dude, it's been a pleasure.
You know what? Somebody hit me about Kev Mac today.
Oh, dude.
You know what I'm saying? So I might do that. Shout out to Baby Winky, man. Doughboy. He been doing this stuff for us too, man.
I'll be looking out for that, man. GEEDEE Grape ST is his Instagram. Make sure you hit him up. We're 100% behind you, man. I'm a donate personally, and I encourage everybody out there to donate too. And hopefully I can have you on the show again soon, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, have a good night, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, you too.
Peace, man. Yeah, man. Another great episode of Dusty Vision Radio, Super Audio Network. Dre Day, what do you say? Let's get the fuck out of here?
Hell yeah.
All right. Every Thursday, 7 p.m. right here, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Super Audio Network. Thanks for joining the show. I'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.